Hey everyone, back tuning into this morning's video. It's Monday at GazOffice.com, which means only one thing: it's Europe Day. Every Monday at GazOffice, have a look at weather coming week across content, and today is no exception. For a go of the Monday morning European outlook, just say about the access links to articles on all pages at GazOffice.com. Have a browse of widgets. Any articles that you're interested in, please click through you. Let's go for read the article, and thanks very much for doing that. So we've got high pressure ridging in off the Atlantic into western parts of Europe at the moment, but in the south and the east it's pretty hot and a little bit thundery as well. That's where the thunder is, in the south and the east, whereas in the north and the west, actually the high pressure ridging in, although high pressure is ridging in, it's relatively cool. So let's have a look at the stochastic pressure chart for today. First of all, there's the ridge building in from the northwest of Europe out into the Atlantic. It stretches down into the Azores High. We've got an area of low pressure across Scandinavia, and then for many parts of the Mediterranean going into Eastern Europe, pressure is slack, but that is where the warmth and the heat is. So the upper air temperatures show this north and west to south and east split up very nicely. Really cool conditions up in the northwest of Europe, much cooler than average for Scandinavia, Denmark, many parts of Germany, the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, down in towards northern France, UK and Ireland, all seeing significantly cooler upper air temperatures than you would expect at this time of year. But conversely, through the Mediterranean, and particularly going into the southeast and the east of Europe, have got some very high upper air temperatures. So the heat is in the east and the southeast of Europe in particular. Now, the dividing line between the cooler area in the north and west and the heat down in the south and the east is giving us a lot of thunderstorms. So you see stretched out through these central parts of Europe, going down into Spain and Portugal, going through France, into southern parts of Germany, over the Alps, and then over in towards eastern parts of Europe. Got some very heavy thunderstorms going on indeed. Much of the Mediterranean, away from the Balearic Islands, actually is dry today. And then go down to southeast of Europe around Greece and Turkey, on dry weather there as well. And then, of course, we come into this much cooler, showery weather up in the north and west of Europe, particularly for Scandinavia, some bouts of heavy rain coming in, also a little bit of showery rain across the north and western parts of Ireland and the UK too. The convective potential charts show the risk of thunder and lightning through those central areas and going down into Spain and Portugal, associated with all that precipitation. So you can see with the temperatures that the heat is through Med. You expect it to be hot through the Med, of course. Temperatures there, 27, 28, 29 degrees quite widely, possibly 30 degrees in some places. And then really hot in the east and the southeast of Europe, looking about around the Balkans, for instance. We've got temperatures to 32, 33 degrees widely, into the 90s Fahrenheit. Heat extends then up into the East Europe as well. But up to the northwest, it's a completely different scene. Just 17, 18 degrees for England and Wales. Denmark, very, very poor and lowly, 14 or 15. Germany, just 19 or 20. France, only at 21. These temperatures are probably a little bit undercooked. It may be a bit warmer, this is suggesting, but overall it is a cool scene in the north and west with the heat in the east. As we move through into the middle part of the week, the high pressure is still there out into the western part of Europe, into the Atlantic Ocean. It extends down into the Azores High. We're not really able to build through Europe properly to bring a proper sustained spell of warm and dry weather. So anything, those cooler upper air temperatures from the northwest have moved down into eastern, some southeastern parts of Europe as we get through into the middle part of the week. The heat really is being pushed in towards, excuse me, in towards the Black Sea and sort of central parts of Russia, that sort of area, way over here, and many, many parts of Europe actually looking pretty cool. Until we come through the Med, of course, and then we do run back into heat from through the Mediterranean. So we've got a band of rain through parts of Ireland and the UK, extending in towards the Low Countries and particularly around Denmark, southern parts of Scandinavia on Wednesday. Going further north, a few showers there across northern parts of Scandinavia. But lots of dry weather, actually. We do lose that thunder risk through central parts of Europe as the ridge starts to build through. But the storms are sort of pushed down with that cooler push of air into the southeast of Europe. So Corsica, Sardinia, and going over into Italy, risk of some heavy thunderstorms, and then coming down through the Balkans in towards the southeast Europe, have risk of some heavy thunderstorms there. Convective potential shows that up nicely. That's where the convection is, with lightning and thunder through the middle part of the week. So the temperatures have eased off through east and southeastern Europe. It's cooling down. We've lost the very high temperature we have at the start of the week. We're down to the mid-20s, something like that. Although Greece is still hanging on to temperatures around 32, 90 Fahrenheit. Then it's very warm through the Med. That's a little bit warm across France as well. So as it cools down a little bit in the east and southeast, it begins to warm up a little bit in the west. Some parts of England, for instance, up to 22. Ireland is up to 21. And Germany, western parts of Germany anyway, is rising up toward the mid-20s. So as one part of Europe loses the extreme heat, another part begins to warm up, but not to extreme levels. We go through to the end of the week, and we're still in this sort of situation with the high pressure out to the west and the southwest of the UK and Ireland, so we're still bringing in sort of a westerly flow across many parts of Europe around the top of that high pressure, so this is limiting the temperature potential. The heat is way over in the extreme east now. It's almost exiting most of Europe, but actually many parts of Europe are on the cool side with the upper air temperatures, but it is heating back up, or hotting back up, I should say, across Spain and Portugal as that heat begins to start to push out of North Africa once again. So at the end of the week shows that we'll have some quite heavy showers across parts of the UK. These could begin to extend down towards northern parts of France as well. But otherwise, a lot of dry weather actually through Western Europe as that heat is building across Spain and Portugal. There will be good sunny spells. Showers into central parts of Europe. Remember, we've got showers for Scandinavia and going down into the East of Europe. So generally it's in the east where you have the showers at the end of the week. Less so in the west, except for the UK and for parts of Ireland too. Convective potential, not a great deal of convective potential actually at the end of the week, so the risk of thunder probably being reduced, if anything, as we go through the week. So temperatures really, really cool here for some central parts of Europe. We've got these showering conditions in Central Eastern Europe. Temperatures may be no lower than the mid-teens. That is exceptionally cool for Central Europe for the 19th of June to just be stuck at around 15 or 16 degrees. Really, really, really poor temperatures. It's a little bit warmer over in the east because it's hot through the Med. You can't really make it out, but just look at that across that red area down there. That's central Spain, indicating temperatures there probably rising back up towards 37 or 38 degrees, 100 Fahrenheit by the end of the week. Of course, you expect to get very hot across Spain at this time of the year. Pretty warm through France. Temperatures in the south of France up to 28. That's 83 in Fahrenheit. And still generally fairly warm or near normal across Ireland and the UK. And then we go through to next weekend, and we may start to see some of a trough of low pressure developing around Scandinavia, possibly starting to bring an even cooler push of air into northern, western and central parts of Europe. So the heat will be through the Med as we go through next weekend, and probably extending up into towards western parts of Russia as well. Otherwise, a very, very cool scene there for most of central, western and northern Europe. Really, really disappointing upper air temperatures. Showers or longer spells of rain through many parts of Scandinavia, so Norway, Sweden and Finland will all be at risk of showers or prolonged bouts of rain next weekend. Possibly some thunderstorms for western parts of Russia. And then coming out in towards the UK, there could be some showers there, and they extend through into Denmark and northern Germany as well. Possibly some thunderstorms developing around northern Spain, so around the Bay of Biscay, perhaps extending over in towards the Pyrenees too. But then a lot of dry weather through the Med and going into the southeast of Europe. Convective potential, some really heavy storms possible for western parts of Russia, but otherwise sort of thundery showers probably associated with that trough over Scandinavia. And then maybe a risk of some severe thunderstorms around the Bay of Biscay and the Pyrenees across the north of Spain. And the temperatures show that generally it's still very cool for many parts of Europe, well below where you would typically expect the temperatures to be on the longest day of the year. The 21st of June is the summer solstice, so you would expect temperatures to be significantly warmer than this across the body of Europe. Really cool, for instance, for Germany, 1920. That is very, very poor for this time of the year for central parts of Europe, and that that sort of poor temperature anomaly extends in towards the east of Europe really as well. Would be hot for Western Russia, but you can't really make it out. It is hot through the Med and going into Spain and Portugal. It's still very hot down there. But overall, it's a pretty disappointing week really this week with the temperatures across much of Europe. We have got the heat in the east and the southeast at the moment. Even there it will be cooling down a little bit as we go towards the middle part of the week. And generally the temperatures are on the poor side this week, with well, not too desperately unsettled conditions. So I suppose that's the plus side, that there should be plenty of dry weather around Europe through the course of a week, but really poor temperatures. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.